Hello, it is Tina Clark, computer teacher, and today is December 14th, 2020. Let's start our computer topic. Okay, I see a picture there of a sun, and I see a picture of the Earth going around the sun. We are going to talk about the winter solstice. Let's find out what that is. Look at that picture. That picture looks a lot like what it looks like about between 4:30 and 5 o'clock anymore during these winter days. Well, let's learn about the winter solstice. In the winter, the days feel shorter because the sun rises later in the morning and it sets earlier at night. The shortest day of the year is usually December 21st. This is also called the first day of winter, and we're going to learn about that. And let's see a video that talks more about that. And I will share that video. Here we go.
This year, the winter solstice occurs on Friday, December 21st at 6:12 a.m., when the sun's path reaches its southernmost position in the sky at high noon, directly above the latitude called the Tropic of Capricorn. In the northern hemisphere, this is the shortest day of the year and the first day of winter. Some ancient civilizations celebrated the winter solstice and the return of lengthening days with bonfires. In some cultures, a log from the fire was saved as a token of good luck for the coming year. In others, ashes from the fire were strewn on the fields as fertilizer. What do you like or dislike about these short days and the coming winter?
I will pause that. Yes, and they have the day wrong. Let's look here and just verify. I don't know if you can actually see what I'm looking at here. But this year, 2020, the shortest day of the year, the winter solstice, is on Monday, the 21st of December. So this video is a couple years old. It's actually on a Monday. And you know what? Today's December 14th. So it is exactly 1 week from today will be the shortest day of the year in terms of daylight. Let's go back to our topic. Find out some more. Okay, so there's a picture of the sun on the left side here, and this shows the sun's rays or the sun shining onto the earth. The earth is over here in the blue on the right. So it says the first day of winter, otherwise known as the winter solstice, is when the northern hemisphere, and when they say the northern hemisphere, they mean the northern part of the earth. When the northern hemisphere sees the least amount of sunlight, and the southern hemisphere is more directly tilted toward the sun. So we live, excuse me, right where that arrow is pointing in North America, the northern hemisphere, that's where we live. And you can tell that the earth is tilted away. There's an imaginary line that runs in the middle of the earth, and the earth is tilted away from the sun and then in the northern part this time of year. So the sun is not as intense, and that's why it gets darker earlier, and that's why the sun rises a little bit later. The tilting of the earth gives us our seasons. So not only do we have like the winter solstice where it might get darker earlier, the tilting of the earth also gives us our seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. And let's see if I can share the video on that. Any of the videos that I talk about will be in the description of this video. And I try not to show you all of the video because for one thing, it makes this recording file a little bit too big. And it's good for you to just go right to the description of this video that I'm making. And the links to all the videos that I talk about will be there. And then you can watch each of the videos in their entirety. So the 4 seasons.
Spring, summer, fall, winter.
The 4 seasons of the year. But why do we even have seasons? Why do the days get colder and colder as winter approaches? Well, it turns out it's all about the tilt. 23.5 degrees, that is. The Earth's axis, that imaginary line running through the center of the spinning Earth, is tilted. When the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, it receives the most direct light, and that's summer. When it's tilted away, on the other side of our year-long orbit around the sun, it receives the least direct light, and that's winter. People in the southern hemisphere have summer, while we have... In some places,
Yeah, I'm going to pause it.
Change much. Can you guess why?
You can watch the
That's
rest of
right.
that. That pretty much just explains what we saw on the last slide, but it shows it better in the video. So you can see that the northern hemisphere, where we live, is pointed away from the sun this time of year. Please watch that entire video by going to the link in the description of the video I'm making. Back to our topic. Let's see how different countries use light in the winter and at Christmas time to get through the dark days. Yes, we'll probably look at just a couple of countries. And you know, when it gets darker so early and when the sun rises so late and there's not as much light, sometimes it does affect people. It affects their mood, and people just are not quite as happy as they are, when there's more light. So you can do some things to make yourself happier. There's many things you can do, but one of the things that we'll talk about here is just creating some of your own light. And we're going to look at a couple different countries here. So let's first of all go to, let me think here, Scandinavia. So hang on. Okay,
Scandinavia is
sorry.
a region in...
I will have myself read it instead of the computer. Scandinavia is a region in Northern Europe that includes Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland. So it's a bunch of countries far across the ocean. Let's see what happens with those countries. What do they do when it gets dark so early? Scandinavia is where most of our Yule log traditions come from. The Yule log is a log that is burned in the fireplace at Christmas. In Scandinavia, the winters were dark and cold. People liked having traditions with warmth and light. Yeah, so sometimes at Christmas time, you might hear people talk about a Yule log, and this originated in Scandinavia. And so they would burn a log in the fire, and they would make some light and make some warmth, even though it got dark so early. And I do have a link. I won't show the link. It's just really a video that goes just to a fireplace video, which would be kind of fun to have in the background and make you feel like you're sitting at a fireplace, because we can't make a fire at work, or at school, I should say. We can't make a fire at school. And at home, maybe some of you at home have a fireplace, but if you do, your parents are in charge of that. All right, let's go to another country. See what they do with light. Here we go. Germany, that's a country, another country across the ocean. Germany is located in the heart of Europe. Germany has a large wooded area called the Black Forest. This forest has pine and fir trees and mountains. The Black Forest also has a big river called the Danube. Well, what did they do in Germany at Christmas? And then how did they involve light with it? You might have this at your house. You might have this in your room or in your classroom at school. It says that trees for decoration were first used in Germany. And what do trees have to do with light? Well, let's look at a video here. I have a video that talks about why do we have Christmas trees? And you can watch the whole video that explains where the Christmas tree originated, why we have Christmas trees. I just want to show you part of that video where it talks about where they used to put candles on a tree. This is not something that we do. and not something that you should do, but it's just some history.
1500s, people started adding lit candles to the fir trees to go with the apples. Slowly but surely, the Christmas tree as we know it today was starting to take shape. It wasn't until 1841 that Christmas trees became widely known outside of Germany. That's because Queen Victoria of England married a German prince named Albert. That winter, he began the custom of decorating a large Christmas tree at the Queen's castle.
Okay, I will pause that. So you can see that they would put candles on their trees. We don't do that now. It's dangerous to do that. It's very dangerous to do that because with live Christmas trees that we have, or even an artificial one, the candles could burn the tree. So that's not something that we do, but that's some history. And that's how they utilized light back then with some Christmas trees. Well, now we don't need candles on trees. We can plug in a string of lights. We string our lights on our tree, and then we plug the tree in, and that's much safer. But that's just another example of using light at Christmas. Long time ago with some candles. Nowadays, if you're going to use candles at Christmas, it might be an electrical candle too, that you would set in the window. Okay, let's go back. Many people make Christmas light displays on their house. So this is something else that is done with light around here at Christmas. Of course, you can look outside and see many people with lights strung on their house, and it's really beautiful. Well, there's a lot of really good videos out there that show houses of people who set their lights to music, and it is really beautiful. There are some places around Sioux Falls, I believe, where you can see that. I'm not sure exactly this year in 2020 where those places are, but there used to be different places where you could drive by and turn your radio to a certain station and listen to music and watch the lights dance to the music. Well, I'm pointing you toward a video. Let's go back and share that here. I will include the link. And these are the top 5 Christmas house light shows. I will play just a little part. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What you can do is, and this is a pretty long video, you can skip around and look at the different ones that are in there, but they're really spectacular shows. And there's a bunch of different ones on YouTube. This is just one that I'm showing. So that's another way that even though it gets dark so early, you can light up a light and make the best of it. Okay, now I think, yep, that's it. Okay, that is all I have for computer on today, which is December 14th, 2020. I will talk to you next time.